Throughout pop history, many real people have been immortalised in song. From famous faces to romantic partners, these people have definitely left a mark on these artists in a way no one else has. On many occasions, an artist will write a song about a specific incident that happened in their life, but not be able to confirm or deny their inspiration. The creative muse can come from anything an artist encounters, from news stories to jilted relationships to the death of a family member. Even if these people's lives were remarkable enough to be put down in words, the artist writing these tunes sometimes have the actual identities of their muse slip through the cracks. Whether it be from forgetfulness or just blind inspiration, the actual details concerning the whereabouts of these people have been lost to history. Regardless of their unknown origins, these anonymous people have had an enormous impact on pop music, whether they know it or not. I'm Kirsten from WhatCulture Music, and here are 7 famous songs about real people that nobody can identify. Number 7, Lovely Rita by the Beatles. Lovely Rita is one of the few incredible lowlights from the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's album. With just the right amount of details, Paul McCartney tells a jaunty little tale of a man trying to win the love of the titular Rita, only to go on a boring date with her and fantasising about her later. Though McCartney made up most of the song like a short story, the actual inspiration for the song is a bit closer to reality. After shopping around England one day, McCartney saw he had been ticketed at the meter by a female traffic cop. Amid his frustration, he found the woman's name, Meter, very interesting. Once McCartney started composing later in the day, the meter of a few hours earlier quickly changed to Rita, after which the song practically wrote itself. Even with years of hindsight, McCartney still cannot recall the actual full moniker of the person who he was singing about. While a few cops working on the police force at the time came forward claiming to be the inspiration for McCartney, nothing has been proven as of late. Whether or not the real Rita, or Meter, is a Beatles fan, her story has been etched in pop history. Number 6, Lucan by Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam's No Code is a weird entry in the band's catalogue to say the least. Though it's full of introspective moments, Lucan is a sudden jolt of energy with a truly disturbing story. The inspiration behind the song came from Vedder dealing with a stalker that had been following him since the band hit it big. The deranged fan had claimed to think that Vedder was God, had raped her, and was now the father of her son. Terrified, Vedder eventually put a wall in front of his house, which served as protection when the woman eventually tried to ram into his house with a car. Though Vedder has always kept to himself when it comes to interviews, not even the most savvy journalists have been able to track down the name of this unknown lunatic that had been menacing Vedder's life ever since the band's inception. While we're given the placeholder name of Lucan in the lyrics, the identity of this psychotic assailant is sure to go down in hard rock history for the rest of eternity. Number 5, Across the Sea by Weezer. Weezer may have been at a career high point after their hugely successful debut album, but frontman Rivers Cuomo was going through a personal hell. Though most of the songs on 1996's Pinkerton dealt with Cuomo's internal struggles, Across the Sea was a bittersweet tale of a lovelorn fan. While sifting through fan mail, Cuomo ended up fixating on this one letter from a schoolgirl in Japan who had taken a liking to him. Pouring his emotions into his music, Across the Sea is an empathetic and slightly twisted take on the fan, where Cuomo obsesses over her lack of connection with him and wondering if she ever fantasizes about him. After the song was released, many Weezer fans are still speculating as to who this unknown Japanese Weezer fan really is. Many want to believe that Cuomo eventually connected with her and got to know her as a friend. Regardless of the true person behind the lyric, this song is one of the most emotionally gripping songs Cuomo has ever written. Number 4, Jessies Girl by Rick Springfield. Jessies Girl is one of the most timeless hits of the early 80s. Using just the right amount of angst, Rick Springfield captured the absolute torture that comes with wanting a girl that you can't have. In the years that have gone by, Springfield has said that he indeed had a friend in school with a girlfriend whom he was crushing on. The only issue is that even Rick himself isn't sure the true origin behind the song. When asked about it, Springfield has never been able to figure the name of the person behind his biggest hit. After appearing on Oprah explaining the song's origins, the production team tried to track down the name of Rick's friend, only to be told that the school records of him have since been thrown out. This is an unusual case where the actual inspiration of the song may not even know that they have been immortalised in a classic of the 80s. Number 3, 5 Minutes Alone by Pantera. After Pantera found their groove on their 1990 masterwork Cowboys from Hell, they set out to top themselves with each passing record. Far Beyond Driven stands as the heaviest record the band had ever released. 5 Minutes Alone is one of the record's standout riffs. The actual story behind the song came from a legal dispute, where a father of a Pantera fan was threatening to sue the band over an injury he claims his son sustained during one of their shows. Deciding not to press charges, the father told Pantera's management that all he needed was 5 minutes alone with Phil Anselmo. Knowing the brutality with which Anselmo approaches everything, the dispute thankfully never erupted into fisticuffs. Regardless of the harsh words on both sides, Anselmo took the high road and vented his frustrations in his music, where he took his critics' threat and turned it into a fierce rager of a tune. With the man in question eventually fading into obscurity over time, it's clear that Anselmo did get the last laugh on his naysayer in the end. Number 2, Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. Once Jackson embarked on the sessions of his massively successful Thriller album, he was being terrorised by a fan who claimed to be the mother of his unborn child. Refusing to cower to his stalker's demands, Jackson buried himself in his work alongside Quincy Jones to create some of the best dance tracks of the 80s. Inspired by his latest privacy issues, he set about writing a song about his stalker, which culminated in his biggest hit, Billie Jean. After the song hit big on the charts, the stalker problems were gone for the time being, but Jackson created a completely different monster with the tabloid circus coming after him after the album's release. While no artist should have to suffer for their art, Michael Jackson's troubles with his mentally unstable fan helped him go from the solo superstar of the Jackson 5 to the king of pop. Number 1, Talk Tonight by Oasis. While Oasis were dominating the British charts in the early 90s, on the back of their record Definitely Maybe, things were a bit more difficult when it came time to cracking the American market. After one particular disastrous show in LA, Noel Gallagher decided he had had enough and went to San Francisco to cool out. Noel met up with a girl he had had a fling with a few weeks earlier and crashed at her house for a few days. Even though Noel had one foot out of the door with Oasis, his new roommate convinced him not to waste the chance he had at becoming a rock star. Seeing her point, Noel returned to the band a few days later and started to take charge of the group. Out of the debacle came Talk Tonight, one of the most intimate tunes Noel would ever compose. Looking back now, Noel has said that he can't even picture the girl, but owes her an unpayable debt of gratitude for saving his life. And that's our list. What do you think about these real people behind songs? Leave us a comment below and let us know. I have been Kirsten from WhatCulture Music, and I'll see you in the next video.
Look, my son, look at the marvel that I have created. Comics. They called me a fool for trying to put a dead meme onto a t-shirt. A damn bold fool! A damn bold fool with an ass that won't quit. It got quite personal towards the end there. But look who's laughing now! Quiet! Quiet, my son, my ugly son, for my other creation rises. Look at the quality fabric, hand-stitched by blind orphans. The perfect letter spacing calculated so meticulously that Rich Hudson had an erection for months about it. And a colouring so deep that I had to buy the dye off the dark web. Oh, for God's sake, Josh!
Sorry.
Oh, Marvel. Oh no, the beast has grown angry, angered by our drab fashion choices. I am such a fool to think that it wouldn't try to infect us with its perfect design. Quick, we must do something to appease the beast. Why don't we buy one from shop.whatculture.com? Oh. Look, it's already got Scott Nash.
Oh no!
But where can I buy one? Are you kidding me? This is why I don't give you any extra lines. But also at shop.whatculture.com. Quick, let's go and buy one right now. Let's go buy one right now.
Right now.
Oh, don't you try hard now. You've already lost your bit. Oscar's in the f***ing bin. There we go. Doesn't that look better? I feel so virile and alive, and it's also fixed your hump. That's actually pretty good. Now do yourself a favour and act like your mum and spread the love, aka her legs, and buy yourself one of these glorious dead memes on a t-shirt, courtesy of this handsome chap right here. You're very, very welcome.
Cut!
Jesus Christ, mine is so
It's
itchy.
all wet. What?
It stinks.
I pissed on yours. The worst font ever. I want to die.